guys, it is Palm Sunday and we are down here by our garden. It's my grandpa's garden and we share it with him. So we're going to be planting our spring garden today. It's really late to be planting. Our goal was after Valentine's Day, but we had a couple of late season like frosts come in and we had a lot of rain, and then we've also had some crazy winds. So today is actually the first decent day that we've gotten to go and plant. Now the garden is not my thing. I have long told my husband that this is his responsibility, not mine, his project, not mine. But I'm more than willing to help, especially when it comes planting time. We did have a fall garden, and if we can see, we still have my grandpa's collards, which we've got to way trim down. And then my husband's onions are still working. So that's all that's left from our fall garden. But we're going to be working on our spring garden today and planting. Yay! So this is my husband, Steven.
Hello.
And he's cutting back the collards. And why are we doing that?
Because we're overgrown, as you can see, and it's prohibiting the growth of the new flowers on the bottom, or the new leaves rather. And we don't want them to go to bloom, because then it's going to kill the rest of the plant.
Gotcha. So after it blooms and stuff, then the plant's done and it just regenerates, I guess, a new one.
Yeah, so what it's doing is it's taking these little flowers here and it's going to turn into seeds so you can replant later. And it's a lot easier to just get either your own seeds or your own pre-started plants.
Right.
That way we still have some crop on this for the rest of the season.
Gotcha.
So many bees out here. I think this plant's topsy-turvy. I'm gonna do it right here.
Oh! You just slapped me in the face! Maybe this is why I don't come and help you in the garden. Oh! You got me again! How do you do it twice? I'm trying to focus on the camera and you focus on the plant, okay?
Okay. This one's got a bunch on it.
I'm just gonna stay back and zoom this time. Oh, you want me to be doing that too? Clean up the bottom?
We'll need to, yes. Because they need to come up to about this high.
Okay. See, the bees keep coming to my ear because you slapped me in the face with the flower. So now they're all chopped and cleaned up underneath, and he's taken all the waste and thrown it away. And then we're gonna get ready to start planting. So we've got all kinds of stuff here that we're gonna plant in our collective garden. In case y'all wanted to know, Grandpa's doing real good. He's outside again. Wave, Grandpa. we got our peppers in the ground and Steven's putting the onions in, and then we've got some watermelon, cantaloupe, tomatoes, carrots and stuff going this way. But I kind of am taking a break because the garden's not really my thing. Let me pick up horse poop any day, but the garden stuff, it's just tedious, and it's just, I don't know, it's just not my talent, not my gift. My papa's really good at it, done it a long time. He's got a really good green thumb. My granny's pretty good. I kill everything. And I think they're just passing on their wisdom to my husband, because if we're going to keep a garden going based on me, it probably won't happen. But my gift is more with the horses, livestock, and animals. I feel comfortable with it. I'm good with it. My husband's not really his thing. So it's kind of good that we've got these two talents that are different. And, you know, together they're put to pretty good use. So it does make me think of two different people in the Bible who have the same two different gifts. So Cain, he was good with the land. He was like a farmer, good with produce and everything. That's where his gift was. Abel was gifted with livestock, so more like what I'm comfortable with, animals. And if you know the story of Cain and Abel, they were the first two sons of Adam and Eve, the first two people in the garden and the world that God created. And Cain killed his brother, so it was the first murder. And I've got a couple of sections here of Genesis that I want to read today. So Genesis 4, 2b through 7. I wrote it down. So it says, "Now Abel became a shepherd of flocks, but Cain worked the ground. In the course of time, Cain presented some of the Lord's produce as an offering to the Lord. And Abel also presented an offering, some of the firstborn of his flock and their fat portions. The Lord had regard for Abel and his offering, but he did not have regard for Cain and his offering. Cain was furious and looked despondent. Then the Lord said to Cain, 'Why are you furious? And why do you look despondent? If you do what is right, won't you be accepted? But if you do not do what is right, sin is crouching at the door. Its desire is for you, but you must rule over it.'" So if you know the rest of the story, Cain got a warning about his sin. Like, he didn't need to be jealous of Abel. And he let sin get the better of him. So he lures his brother out to the field, kills him. God asks him, "Hey, where's Abel?" And he says, "You know, who am I, my brother's keeper?" But God already knew. He already knew that he had killed Abel. But Cain still didn't want to admit it or confess it or even admit that he'd done anything wrong. Alright, so now I'm going to read another section from this passage. Genesis 4, 11 through 12. "So now you are cursed, alienated from the ground that opened its mouth to receive your brother's blood you have shed. If you work the ground, it will never again give you its yield. You will be a restless wanderer on the earth." So Cain had to pay for his sin, not just of killing his brother. We all kind of see that as an obvious, like, bad thing. Even if you're not a Christian, you realize you shouldn't kill people. Like, that's not a good thing. But his first sin was his offering to the Lord. It just says that he brought some of the produce. Whereas Abel, he brought the first of his flock's yield and the fat portion, like the good, the very, very best. And that really was where Cain's sin had started. So Cain, he did not bring his best to God. It doesn't tell us why, but for whatever reason, he held back the best, and it was just kind of like, here's like a token. I guess I'll give you something, God. Which God didn't bless. You know, God blessed Abel's because Abel gave him the very best that his flocks gave him. And that's what God wants. He wants the honor, the glory, and us worshiping him. If we just kind of like throw him a little token, you know, whatever, half-heartedly, like, that's not good enough. and that's why it wasn't acceptable. So that's really the first step in the wrong direction that Cain did. So when I think about that, and I think about this garden, or even like my horse, I want to give God my very best. So in our fall garden, we had radishes, a lot of radishes everywhere. And my grandpa, who's really good at gardening, like, he took really good care of his side of fertilizer and stuff, and he had these giant radishes that were like the size of your fist. And then we had radishes, but they were much smaller and took much longer to grow. But when it came time for our first harvest, Stephen and I, we pulled up a bunch of the good radishes and we gave them to my grandparents first. Then we took some, brought it back home for us to cook, and then I grabbed, like, a handful of the ones that were not so great but not bad, and I gave them to the horse. And so what Cain did was the equivalent of what I gave to my horse for a snack is what he gave God. Okay? When the right thing to do would have been like what my grandparents got, the very best, and they got a whole bunch of it, Or we can look at the example of my horse. So long before I got a horse, but I knew that I was preparing and wanting a horse. Like, I've wanted one my whole life. And after I graduated college, I was like, okay, gonna get one. I've got time for one. But as I was preparing for that, I would pray to God and say, Lord, this is gonna be such a blessing, but I want to know and remember that this is not my horse. And I want to honor you with it. So God, my horse is going to be your horse. However you want me to use him for you, help me remember to do that and to share him with others. Like, God's given you a gift or a blessing, it's meant to share. So I knew that I would not hold my horse back from anybody who would want to come and ride him or come and experience him. And I did use him for a little while I was working at a Christian school for teens that come from rough backgrounds. And he was great. He was great in that program. And that really helped me feel like, okay, my gift and my horse is being used to honor God. But out here it's a little bit harder. I do have some kids that like to come and ride, and I gladly do that. I like teaching them. But the other thing is I'm using him in these videos, using him to help spread the gospel. And I'm going to continue to do that. Whether or not I get views, that's not my thing. But I promise God that my horse would be used for him. And so that's my motivation behind these videos. And when I read the story of Cain and Abel, and when Cain sinned, not only did God kind of, push him out and away from his family, from his blessing, but also his gift, which is kind of what I want to focus on. He lost his gift that God gave him. So the land was no longer going to produce for him. If he had planted a garden anywhere, it was going to grow weeds and thistles and not grow the plants that he'd want to grow. And I never want that to happen to my gift. I want to serve the Lord. And if I hold Sully back and he's my only horse and it's just selfish, all mine, me and my horse, and no, you can't ride him, or no, I don't want to do these videos, if I just try to hold him back, then that's not honoring God with my gift. That's breaking my promise. And what's to say that God's not going to cause me to be in an accident where I can't ride anymore? Or, right now I'm super blessed to be on my grandparents' property. But, what if something happens and then I get pulled out of here and I have to move to a place where I can't have a horse? That can happen. God can take away the blessing because I'm misusing my gift and I'm hoarding it for me and I'm not honoring God with it. And then the other thing that kind of struck me about it is the reminder that God gave his very best for me. You know, when he sent his son to die on the cross. Next Sunday is Easter. That's the ultimate reminder of, you know, the gift that I've received. And so if God himself, who deserves all glory and all honor, gave his best for me, lowly me, who deserves nothing, not God's love, not forgiveness. There's nothing that I deserve that's good. But if he gave his best for me, why would I not give my best, my first fruits, my all that I have to honor him? You know, and that's kind of like a big pill to swallow. And just to remember that my talents, my gifts, my loves are not really mine. They're God's. And they're not specifically here for my pleasure. They're here for me to honor God, to share it with others, and to hope that, you know, if somebody comes and rides my horse and gets pleasure out of it, then I can kind of talk about, you know, what God has done, like how he brought this horse into my life. And it creates a connection and an opportunity to open the door and share my faith, you know. And that's what I want. So as we go into Easter weekend, please remember that the gifts and the talents that God's given you, they aren't just about you, okay? Not just to make you feel good or have an accomplishment, okay? They are to honor God. And your gifts are meant to be shared with others. First is to go back to him. So whether it's a garden with a green thumb or it's horse sense, find a way to honor God and to give back to him, okay? Because otherwise, you never know, that gift may be taken away from you. All right, y'all, have a good week, and I will update you when we have some stuff growing in the garden. All right, bye guys. If you like this video, please like and subscribe to our channel. Please leave a comment if you would like us to pray for you, or if you have any fun gardening tips, because this is our first spring garden, so we are open to all ideas. Wish us luck, guys. Till next time, bye. These gnats.